Welcome back to week 7 of the Healthy Heathcote 90-day challenge. We're here at Tumbling Waters Retreat and thank them for their allowing us to come and visit and film the Healthy Heathcote series. I'm here today with Emily. Hello Emily.
Hi Lee.
What are we talking about today?
Today we're talking about bacteria.
Bacteria?
Yes.
What sort of bacteria?
Well, in particular the bacteria that lives in your gut. So there's lots of gut bacteria, so you can actually have over 100 trillion bacteria in your gut and between 300 to 1,000 different species that live there. So in fact, when we're walking around in a day, in our bodies, so only 10% of what we walk around with is actually like our cells and our skin and our tissues and stuff like that. 90% of what we walk around with is actually our gut bacteria, so there's much more of them than there are of us.
So there's good bacteria and bad bacteria?
Yeah, and we're talking about the good bacteria and all the things that they can do for us. So they break down fibers, help break down our food. They fight off the bad bacteria, so they help to kill them. They make vitamin B12 and as well as vitamin K. They help actually form the intestinal wall, so we can absorb things more. And they're actually the central area for our nervous system and our hormonal system and our immune system. So lots of things can go wrong if we don't have the right gut bacteria in there. And what that's called, so if you don't have a lot of gut bacteria or you don't have very many species of gut bacteria, that's actually called dysbiosis. So it's a big word, but it's a good word. Oh, it's a bad word actually, because we don't want dysbiosis. And dysbiosis, it's actually associated with a lot of things. So there's the digestive problems, which people would expect more. You get irritable bowel syndrome, irritable bowel disease, Crohn's, celiac disease, and also food intolerances are all associated with it, as well as there's some other ones that you wouldn't really expect. So there's some autoimmune diseases such as rheumatoid arthritis and MS, type 1 diabetes, as well as lupus, and these are all just associated with having a dysbiosis of gut bacteria. And another really important one is that our gut bacteria does is it actually creates a neurotransmitter called GABA. And GABA is really calming to your brain, and we need that to calm it. And so if you don't have it, then you can get a lot of anxiety or anxious depression. So that's obviously not very helpful. And they've actually also done a study that showed that kids or babies who were supplemented with gut bacteria, so we call those probiotics when you're supplementing it, who were supplemented as babies actually had less ADHD as teenagers. So this gut bacteria, it's a lifelong thing and it's really important. And a few other things that are associated, things like autism, allergies, eczema, asthma, some cancers, obesity. There's a big long list of things that are associated with having dysbiosis of your gut bacteria.
So how does dysbiosis occur?
Well, there's lots of ways that it occurs. Being born by cesarean section, some antibiotics, some other medications, some big things like that, but we don't have a lot of control over those things. But some other things, there's a lot of things that we do have control over, and so those are the important ones we're going to talk about today. Things like preservatives. So preservatives are designed, they're put in our food and they're designed to kill bacteria or stop them from growing. That's their main
And that would
point.
be in the product itself, not necessarily in you.
Well, but then you drink it, and then it goes into you. Mm-hmm. And so it keeps on killing the bacteria after you've drunk it. And so especially sodium metabisulfite is one of the big ones.
What was that again?
Yeah, sodium metabisulfite. Its number is 223. It's easier just to read it on there. And so if you ever see 223, you know that's got a really bad preservative in it, and that's actually going to kill the bacteria in your gut. And it actually kills bacteria at really low amounts. And so sometimes some people are sneaky and it's not actually on the label because they only need a little tiny bit in order to kill the bacteria. So they legally didn't have to put it on the label. So these are actually some products that I have checked that all have 223 in them. So all of these ones are things that you do not want to drink. These two both have them in them. And then also colorings and flavorings. If you bought a big vat of coloring and flavoring, you'll find that that's full of preservatives too. So you need to watch out for colorings and flavorings, of which this is obviously full of colorings.
Well, what we've been talking about, Emily, about looking at healthier alternatives, and I know lots of people drink a couple of those a day, as we've been discussing.
Yeah.
So if you're drinking those on a daily basis, that means you're actually doing yourself harm.
Yeah, you're actually actively destroying the gut bacteria in your system. So even if you were perhaps taking a supplement or eating yogurt and other things that would help, or fermented foods that would help increase your gut bacteria, you start consuming these and you're going backwards. And some other ones, 221 is sodium sulfite, and 211 is sodium benzoate. And both of these, last week we talked about leptin, and if leptin drops, then it makes you more hungry. Both of these preservatives actually cause leptin to drop, so it'll cause you to eat more, so it will cause weight gain. So that's another thing that preservatives do for us, which is fun. And then, so another thing is pesticides. So pesticides, again, are designed to kill bugs. That's their whole purpose, is to to keep the food fresh, and so it doesn't have bugs on it, so they can sell it and make it look pretty. And organophosphates are a particularly really bad one, and they've actually been banned in Europe, and they're restricted in a lot of the US, but we still use them quite commonly in Australia. And so the list of things that it's been found to reduce IQ, have weight gain, type 2 diabetes, Parkinson's, and Alzheimer's. All these things are associated with having more organophosphates in your system. And they actually found that children under the age of 7 don't actually have the enzyme to clear organophosphates. So if they're consuming them every day, then they're actually not getting them out of their body, so they can build up in their bodies. So in particular, really bad for children. So a few foods that I'd like to talk about. There's wheat, and actually it starts strawberries, wheat, and then apples are actually the top 3 in Australia that have the highest pesticide residue on them when you buy them as conventional. They call this the dirty list, and this was the dirty list of the highest pesticide residues. And then we've got corn, onions, and pineapple, which are actually on the clean list. So even when these are done conventional with pesticides, when you buy them in the store, they don't have the very little pesticide residue actually on them. And in particular, I mean, you peel off the pineapple, you don't eat the outsides of the onions or the corn, so that's actually helpful when you're buying things. And also this book I wanted to point out to everybody. So it's called The Chemical Maze, and so that's the numbers that we talked about, so that explains what all the numbers are. So any numbers that you're confused about, and you see the numbers on the back of a product, you can look it up and see what they are. And that's just a nice little small book that you can put in your handbag and take to the grocery store with you. So this week, what we want to do, onto our tasks, is our clean dirty list. So I'm going to post the longer list on the Facebook page. So what we want to do is, off the dirty list, I'd like everyone to buy one of those products this week. Start buying it organic, because we really want to get those pesticides out of our system. So these are the worst ones. So pick one off the dirty list and try to buy it organic from now on. Or if you can, instead of an apple, buy a pineapple. And then that'll have less pesticides on it for you. And then to review the rest of our things. So we also want to decrease packaged food, because you never know what's in packaged food. Yes, there are labeling laws, but if it's less than 10 parts per million, they don't have to put it on the label, and it could still be in there, and it could still affect your gut bacteria. So if you can try to make your own food, buy ingredients rather than a packaged thing. And check the labels. You still can try to check the labels. Anything, especially 223, 221, 211, all really bad numbers, and other preservatives that you can look up in the little book. Don't want those in our products. And then now we're up to walking for 60 minutes. So we can either do one lot of 60 minutes, or 2 30s or 3 20s, however you want to split it up through the week. Just make sure it adds up to 60 minutes, or again, whatever exercise you've chosen to do, trampolining, swimming, whatever. You're not getting on a trampoline anytime soon. Let's try no caffeine. Not at all. Not even in the morning. I know that's a hard one. Up to 1.75 liters of water in a day. We want a balanced dinner for 4 days of the week, so try 4 nights we have a balanced dinner. Protein for lunch 4 days a week, and also protein for breakfast 4 days a week. And I think you'll notice that you don't have to eat as many snacks. It's really going to be, the energy is going to keep up throughout the day. Keep decreasing your sugary foods, and really don't keep that soft drink out of your diet, and keep it out for the next week.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Emily.
No problem.
And I thank Tumbling Waters Retreat for having us again today, and I hope you've got something out of the new Healthy Heathcote 90-Day Challenge. I'll see you soon.